good, because this one's pretty big.
Yes.
It's only the winningest driver over the last 10 years changing teams, so.
Yeah, not that big.
Yeah.
So he's going to pilot the 8 car, which is kind of not breaking news, I don't think, but the fact that RC has been very steadfast in saying that Tyler Reddick is going to race for the team next year. First question, yes or no question, both of you real quick. Do you think Tyler Reddick will actually be at RCR next year?
No.
Matt? Yes or no?
I think so.
Nope, no explanation. Just yes or no.
Okay, yes.
Okay, great. I don't think he's going to be there because I don't think Kurt Busch is coming back. Oh,
actually, that's a good point. Yeah.
Listen, all that news is going to come out so much quicker than we think because all it took was this domino to fall.
Can I explain my reason why I think he's going to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because they've already fielded the 33 this year, and Austin Hill is probably going up to Cup to replace him after that.
That's fair. That's a very fair point.
It's a good outlook. Yeah, good point.
There's some weird things here, right? Because Kyle's just going to slide into the 8 car, which it's just always weird when you slide one driver in and you keep the other one and you kind of put him with a new team. A lot of people talking about, this is him being, Richard Childress being very spiteful. Tyler Reddick talked about how an hour before the press conference, he told Tyler that he wouldn't be back in the 8 car next year, which I thought was hilarious. Probably also told him, hey, at least I gave you a heads up before the announcement. 3 charters. If there aren't long-term plans to field a 3rd car, if this is like a year thing, I don't see the benefit in leasing a charter for a year just to run a driver that you're probably not going to have the resources to help compete for a championship. Now, if it's a long-term thing and you're going to buy the charter, that's a little more reasonable. Mm-hmm. Where you get that charter from, Live Fast, Rick Rare Racing, or Spire.
Those guys aren't selling their charters. I'm just saying.
Live Fast.
Rick might have to.
Live Fast is the one that might have to, because they've been bottom 3, I think, for the last 2 years now. That's the thing. Now, does NASCAR actually go through and revoke these things? That's the actual question.
Yeah, because it says that NASCAR has the right to do so. Yes.
Exactly. Not that they have to.
Do you think Trey?
I muted specifically for the first one, and then
Here's the question: do you think if they don't? Because it says they have the right to. God, that's gonna be messy. That's gonna be sticky.
Exactly.
Because I bet if they don't go for it, Richard Childress is gonna make like a formal, I don't know, a request or
And then you have 2 RTA teams because I'm pretty sure those other 3 are all in the RTA. We love the Race Team Alliance here on the Fake Racers podcast, and by we I mean me, and by love I mean have some very big gripes with it.
I was gonna say I think they have that rule in place about charters specifically for situations like this where there's a big team that wants to expand or a new team, and they're like, okay, these guys are just kind of running 30th every week, so. Which
is not fair, first of all.
I agree.
That is not fair to be like, hey, Dale Jr. wants a charter, so you've been bottom 3, get out.
Yeah.
That's not fair. Not that I'm saying that's not how they're going to go about it, because brains and
money.
people.
Yep.
Exactly.
Money.
Well, money. You said the word that I wanted to say, but didn't want to say. But it's a very interesting decision. Because if you're Richard Childress, you don't want to buy Tyler Reddick out of his contract. If you're 2311, you don't want to pay to buy Tyler Reddick out of his contract. It all hinges on the guy that's on Davy's shirt, which is Kurt Busch. He's wearing his Kansas winter t-shirt. It all hinges on what happens with Kurt Busch. That is the next domino. Can Kurt come back? Not will he, because I think if he can, he will.
Yeah.
At least for a season to finish out his contract. Because I think he's pretty integral to that 45 team right now with the Monster sponsorship.
Yeah, I think it's clear he likes it there too.
He's
been posting all over social media.
I think he's going to stick around when he's done.
I think that'd be freaking awesome.
I have a feeling he will. Because Kurt Busch is a guy that we've talked about. He makes his team better.
Mm-hmm.
Used to think Brad Keselowski was one of those guys, but this year is kind of hurting that argument a little bit. Not gonna lie.
This whole situation, it just kind of like, it's such a mess, you know?
So you can look at it like Did Tyler Reddick and Denny Hamlin bring this upon themselves?
I was thinking about that a lot earlier today.
Did Richard Childress Racing bring this upon themselves? Like,
it's one of those situations where it's like, okay, Richard Childress, they kind of, I don't know if they backed themselves into a corner.
They fumbled the bag with Tyler Reddick.
They fumbled the bag by just doing that single year option. But two wrongs don't make a right, and that doesn't make it okay for Tyler Reddick to then just blindside them and go side with somebody else. Because it's like, I guarantee why Richard Childress is mad is because when the way that it seems like this deal came together is either this deal had been in the works for a while and was banking on him getting that year extension, or it came together after he got the year extension, in which case Denny Hamlin then slid in, was like, do you want to come drive for us afterwards? And then Reddick never went to RC and said, this is what they're offering me, you should match it or I'm going to be gone. He just took the deal and expected it to all blow over.
Run, yeah.
I think the reason Tyler Reddick didn't make that move because he asked. I mean,
at the start of the year, it's very public that he asked.
He asked for a long-term contract, and I do understand feeling a little bit, is smitten the right word? Feeling slighted that they only exercised the year option, and then only after he won the race. It's not a great look.
And just because it's after he won the race doesn't mean that wasn't already something that was coming, and they were just trying to figure out verbiage and whatnot in a contract. But it's obviously pretty convenient.
No, because it was an option on his current contract, right? There was no verbiage. There was no new contract. It was just the option that was already on it.
I still feel like that's not something you could do in like a 24-hour time period. I feel like you can't just be like, oh yeah, okay, here, buddy, sign your extension on your contract. You want to race like that?
I feel like they definitely could.
I mean, I'm sure they could. I just don't think you do.
Just ship Tyler Reddick's ass to welcome and have him sign it. All right, cool. Yeah. Tyler Reddick's like, okay,
I'm done with this.
Denny. I'm gonna call Denny.
Too, if you're Tyler Reddick, obviously it's been made pretty public, and a lot of people like to bring up the argument of Austin Dillon because everyone hates Austin Dillon for some reason. Well, we know the reason, but is it fair? Not always. There's the argument that those people like to make about Austin Dillon always being the focus of RCR, despite Tyler being better this year. That argument's going to probably go away next year when Kyle Busch is doing really well, because there is no reason you don't put at equal, if not more, resources into the 8 car if Kyle Busch is your driver.
Not to mention that Austin Dillon's driven for RCR for like 20 years now, so
yep.
It's kind of going to have some favoritism within the team. And the other thing that I wanted to say, or other point I wanted to bring up about this is like, it seemed like such a rush deal to get him signed, because like, what is 23XI's plan? Like, you kind of had to know that there was going to be some backlash, and they don't even know if they're going to have 3 cars yet.
Yeah, so that's the thing. They want to get to 3 cars too. Denny Hamlin has said 3 is a good number.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up.
I don't know if maybe that now involves buying one of the Gibbs charters when that time comes. When Truex decides to retire after next year, because that's probably what's going to happen.
Especially with the KBM pipeline gone, they might not have a 4th driver.
Look, we put ourselves in a tricky situation. We're Joe Gibbs Racing. We'll talk about that here in a second. But Richard Childress Racing screwed up by not signing Tyler Reddick. RC doubled down on that decision. Got the best driver, best free agent available in the last, 10 years since Kevin Harvick was available, right?
Yeah.
Is that a fair argument? I mean,
I think so. Yeah. I think he's a better free agent.
Oh, he's the best free agent probably in the last 20 years, at least.
It's hard to think of Kyle's had a kind of down couple seasons.
Because maybe Carl Edwards is maybe better than Harvick. I don't know. We didn't get to actually see that.
But even Carl Edwards, when he left Roush, it's like, okay, he's a talented driver. No one had any idea the season he was going to have when he went to Gibbs.
Same with Kenseth. I was thinking of Kenseth too, but then
just think about the last time a multi-time champion hit the free agent market like this. I can't think of one. This is like the equivalent of when Peyton Manning hit free agency.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of shock when Brad hit free agency last year, right? Yeah. But not the level of Kyle Busch.
Yeah, no.
This has been the story that's dominated the summer. And now it's still going to continue to dominate the headlines for probably a couple weeks because there's still some dominoes that are going to fall because of it.
Oh yeah, the fallout is insane, which I'm excited to get to. I'm excited to get to the part where it's like all of the backlash, all the fallout, all the things that are going to fall because of it that have already fell.
Let's get there because we've talked a lot about RCR. Let's start with Joe Gibbs Racing.
TRD. Let's start with TRD.
No. We're gonna go down the pyramid, not up the pyramid. We're gonna go down the pyramid.
Okay.
Let's go down the pyramid.
Yeah.
Because Kyle Busch had some very, very pointed comments. Now, thanked Joe Gibbs, thanked the team, thanked Toyota, did all the right things. Made it very clear that returning to the 18 car at some point this summer, Pocono, was not an option for him.
Yep.
We all know who's going into the 18 car. It's going to be Ty Gibbs. Doesn't matter when they announce it. That's what's going to happen. We know that.
Dude's won 5 races in his first Xfinity season. I think he's ready for Cup. And he's already been competent, you know. The writing's been on the wall this whole time, you know.
Also goes to the fact that Joe Gibbs said, oh, Ty's going to run 2 years full-time in Xfinity. That was a load of crap.
Yeah.
I think we all kind of knew that from the start.
Everyone knows it.
I think that might have been the plan if Truex was going to retire. But
I think I think the 19 was the plan. They realized they couldn't get a big enough sponsor to feed Kyle, and they're like, all right, Martin, you want to come back for an extra year and help us out? Yeah. Martin said, sure, I'm still competitive. All right, we'll put Ty in the 18 car. We can pay him a lot less money. He'll get the monster stuff somehow. I don't know how that works. So, my point being, if you're Kyle Busch, you feel very slighted by a team that you are the only driver for that team that has won a championship since Tony Stewart in 2005.
Ooh, Jesus. Ouch.
Did you think about that?
That's a yikes. Oh, man. Putting it in perspective like that.
I'd be pretty dang disappointed because Joe Gibbs Racing did not, I don't know if tried hard enough is the right way, but they did not do enough to keep Kyle Busch. And people are going to make the argument that Kyle wanted too big of a salary, too big of a contract. He's going to Richard Childress Racing. I think Joe Gibbs could pay more than RCR if they really wanted to.
If you're at this point in your career, you've earned it. You know, there's a reason why these veterans cost that much money. So,
driver salaries have gone down. That's been made very public by the guys like Kevin Harvick. There was like that fallout between him and Dale Jr. when Dale was on the way out talking about driver salaries.
Yeah.
Driver salaries have gone down. That's a big reason why Brad Keselowski left Penske. Taking ownership role.
That's why Matt Kenseth didn't get another full-time ride.
Yep.
So,
Joe Gibbs Racing screwed up. At the end of the day, who screwed up more? Richard Childress Racing not signing Tyler Reddick without knowing that they would get Kyle Busch, or Joe Gibbs Racing not re-signing Kyle Busch? Who do you think's the bigger screw up?
Oh, Joe Gibbs, 100%.
Yeah, okay.
I was going to say, ironically, this is very similar to an RCR lost Harvick. Because Harvick was out of the door because grandson was coming in as the Silver Spoon kid, and what is happening with Gibbs right now?
Holy crap, you ain't wrong.
Joe Gibbs' grandson is coming in, and Kyle Busch is like, dog, I've done everything for you for the last 15 years.
And we haven't even begun talking about what this means for KBM and the relationship with TRD, and the TRD pipeline doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, Kyle Busch is Toyota.
Yep.
He's set every record for them. Truex is the only Toyota driver to win a title. So he's won 2/3 of their titles. He won their first Cup race.
And Truex's team isn't even around anymore that he won the title with.
Yeah.
He is the main / only Toyota team in trucks that's like a TRD pipeline team.
Yeah, because ThorSport kind of runs independently, right? And
that's not going to happen anymore. And then it's just like I saw a really funny comment, and this is kind of like we're kind of getting into our next topic with Kate, because KBM is going to go to Chevy from here on out. And I saw a really funny comment on Reddit about like, so that's why John Hunter Nemechek looked like someone shot his dog in Victory Lane when he won. And I was like, that's so true. That dude he just did not look happy to win that race. He saw it, man. I mean,
yeah, I would
like,
assume
what do you do if you're a TRD pipeline driver and your competition is now a champion, someone who should be a champion, and then Ty Gibbs? Does he get a cup ride? You're not getting a cup ride.
Well, Christopher Bell. You forgot about Christopher Bell.
Christopher Bell too, but Christopher Bell's been good.
Exactly.
I don't think they get rid of Christopher Bell.
No, not if look. They have everything they did wrong with Eric Jones.
Mm-hmm.
They have corrected with Christopher Bell. I will give them credit for that. Where Christopher Bell was struggling, they paired him up with Adam Stevens. They paired him up with that championship caliber crew chief.
Yeah.
Can I just mention?
Not
also,
that Jason Radcliffe wasn't, but you know.
I'm not a very big fan of Joe Gibbs. I don't think he's a bad guy, but as a team owner, he annoys the hell out of me. And I don't want to say he's a snake, but I do remember when Eric Jones was on his way out at the end of 2019 or 2020.
I'd take care of him. I promised his dad I would take care of him.
Joe Gibbs was on the Dale Jr. Download, and he was talking about their team, and he mentioned the other three drivers by name and never once mentioned Eric Jones the entire time. And this was like October of 2020 while Eric was still driving for them. And it was like, that's weird. So
I got some bias here, so I don't want to get into it too much. But
wait, was that 2020 when Eric was... Yeah, Eric was still there in 2020.
Regardless, I mean, Joe Gibbs has screwed up the TRD pipeline now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, there's no one in truck unless they go to ThorSport, but I don't really see that happening.
Well,
I don't see Joe Gibbs starting up a truck team.
Look at ThorSport. I mean, you got Ben Rhodes, who's defending series champion, who's been decent this year.
Yeah.
Matt Crafton's got a ride for life there. That's pretty obvious.
As long as Menards is paying the bills, he's there. Yeah.
Christian Eckes got kicked out of TRD.
Yeah.
Got kicked out of their pipeline so freaking early. That made no sense. Who else is over there? Oh, Ty Majeski. Ty Majeski's the only one where it feels like he could be, he's got an engineering role there too, which I think kind of gets swept under the rug. I don't think people realize because that's what he was doing last year over there. And then they had that 5th truck that they've fielded for Johnny Sauter part-time.
They really roll out an extra truck just for Johnny Sauter to yell at them on the radio.
Pretty much. But the point being is, I mean, does TRD help Venturini get up to the truck series? I mean, we know the ARCA series ain't what it was, ain't what it whatever was, and
yeah, I don't know, and who knows how much it'll be, how it'll be.
I don't think Venturini wants to go to the truck series.
I don't think he does either. I think he's perfectly happy winning everything in ARCA.
I'm just trying to think of like what Toyota is thinking about this, because they've banked on Kyle Busch being their talent pipeline for 10 years now. And then Joe Gibbs just kind of let him walk. And so, like, is that going to damage Gibbs' relationship with Toyota?
I mean, I don't think it will, but that's been on my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Joe Gibbs, you are the only team in the garage area right now that has experience getting a new manufacturer into the sport.
Yeah.
I don't give a crap about 2007. 2007 Toyota was the worst monkey butt doo-doo we've ever seen.
They are essentially the factory Toyota team.
So, if you're Joe Gibbs Racing, you kind of hold a lot of cards when it comes to that. So I don't... I feel like TRD at this point, they put themselves into a corner. We've talked about it with their development pipeline. The whole cutting bait with drivers way before they should.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Gibbs Racing has a pretty bad habit of it too. Look at Joey Logano. Look at JJ Yaley. But that's not...
Sounds too much like a USRL member now.
We could see Eric... what does Eric Jones do now that they've got really good funding behind him? Right? Like, look at how good they've been this year.
Outran a Joe Gibbs car to win this year.
Yeah, KBM was the glue holding the TRD pipeline together. And I don't think anything's going to come of it because I know the relationship is strong. But Matt, I do agree with you. Like, what does that mean about their relationship? Because Joe Gibbs maybe not necessarily taking a flyer, but like pivoting this hard. I mean, that really does like screw up a lot of young drivers' careers now because the TRD pipeline. I mean, they're going to have to build it from somewhere else. Like it's going to have to come from somewhere else. And let's not also talk about how much of a loss it is for Toyota, but also how big of a win it is for Chevrolet to have KBM.
If they get those details ironed out.
They treat their younger drivers a lot better. Go ahead, Joe. You have a face.
Nice Motorsports new Toyota team. I figured it out.
There's potential there, I guess.
Yeah.
Because GMS ain't leaving, so.
No.
Yeah. I mean, this goes even deeper than that. Like somebody's pointed out, Stuart Friesen's team's a satellite to KBM. So is he left hanging at Toyota, or is he got to switch it back to Chevy as well?
And he just made that switch a couple years ago, too. Now
it took him like 2 years to start running good, and they're like finally back up, and now they're KBM switching to Toyota or Chevy, and Stuart Friesen's like, but I just come on.
I would think Friesen's team was more likely to just go ahead and switch with KBM, if anything.
Yeah,
because I don't think those TRD ties are all that strong.
Yeah, I could see him becoming even like an RCR satellite, like fully at that point. So,
man, that's the part I enjoy. That bit of it, all like this means this is wreaking havoc.
And the other
on
thing
the sport.
is,
like
KBM is more than the truck team. Rowdy chassis. I mean, you've got they have the ARCA team. Now they bought Joe Gibbs Racing's ARCA team.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Wait a second.
Granted, it's one car and it's been shared by, I think, not Chandler Smith this year, but it's been shared by Sammy Smith and.
Is Drew Dollar still driving the KBM ARCA car?
No.
Because if so, the Drew Dollar to JRM rumors.
There's a relationship at least. You never. I listen. Oh my god.
But the point being is, Joe Gibbs Racing sold the farm for some magic beans and Ty Gibbs. Because Ty Gibbs is that guy. He is that prospect. You can hate how he races, you can hate his demeanor off the track, but he is a hell of a race car driver.
Yeah.
You can't deny that at this point. You can say he's in the best equipment, he's still winning. If you're in the best equipment and you're not winning, you're bad. There are plenty of examples of that. So
that was pointed,
but it's true, right? I mean, let's be fair. Like, if Ty Gibbs is in the best equipment, of course he's winning. Bad driver doesn't win.
The best drivers are in the best equipment for a reason. So
sometimes it's because you got a silver spoon to start, and you're able to, but not the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, they sold the farm for the magic beans and Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs could be a multi-time Cup Series champion. He could be a bust in 3 years. We don't know.
Yeah.
You'd never truly know with the Cup Series being so different now. So
the thing that I'm thinking about also is, obviously you have Christopher Bell, obviously you have Ty Gibbs. What's the plan after that?
I think Sammy Smith is in the plans.
Yeah. He's still relatively an unknown.
Basically,
Hamlin
the plans are a bunch of unproven guys.
Corey Haim, I guess. John Hunter Nemechek.
Is Chandler Smith sticking around?
I've seen everyone talk about the TRD guys, and Chandler Smith has not been mentioned, so I don't know.
He might just be a Kyle Busch guy at this point.
Who knows what's going to happen with John Hunter Nemechek, man?
He'll be in the 26 full-time next year or something.
Yeah.
Probably.
Sam Hunt Racing getting more Toyota support, though, isn't a bad thing.
I mean, I guess you take your rides where you can get them, but if I was John Hunter Nemechek, I would not want to stick with Gibbs. They just passed right over him.
I would be so angry right now if I'm John Hunter. First of all, you're supposed to be the fill-in driver if someone at 2311 gets hurt. You get passed over that for Ty Gibbs, which was, again, the writing on the wall for Kyle being gone.
Mm-hmm.
Now because Joe Gibbs Racing decided they're not going to re-up Kyle Busch, you've lost your truck ride.
Yeah.
And you're signed to a contract with TRD, so TRD has the option to obviously buy him out or whatever.
Yeah.
So either you're going to be on the street or you're going to be racing whatever, wherever, whenever for TRD. And you did all of that, Do you remember what the whole argument was with John Hunter Nemechek? He's taking a
no.
big risk going back down to the Truck Series. Not a lot of drivers get back to Cup, but this could work out if he wins a lot, and he won a lot, and he hasn't won as much this year, and now that pipeline's drying up. So
yeah, and to be fair, it was a good gamble, but Gibbs kind of fumbled the bag above him, and he's caught in the whole ripple effect of it now.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, really unfortunate set of circumstances that just worked out against John Hunter Nemechek in almost every way. Like, could not have been more harmful to his career.
I'm just wondering, like, what or who's going to drive for KBM? Because I imagine the 18's getting renumbered to the 8.
Carson Hocevar.
Honestly, not a bad
He's
choice
a
for that.
Chevy driver development. Daniel Dye, I think, is a Chevy driver development.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else. Nick Sanchez, Rajah Caruth. I don't know if they're Chevy development or if they're just NASCAR driver diversity.
If he wants a veteran, I mean, Brett Moffitt's out there. He's a Chevy guy, but I don't know about that.
London Bridge is burning down, burning down, burning down.
Yeah, this whole thing is friggin' crazy, though.
Like I said earlier, this is I'm not a huge fan of silly season stuff, but I am a fan of silly season moves wreaking absolute havoc on the sport.
Oh yeah,
this is great.
And again, this goes to the grassroots. Again, I mean,
a lot of reach with this move.
So, Kyle Busch going to RCR. That's the big news from today.